Buongiorno, good morning. Lovely Tuesday here on the Goldie, early winter's day. It's not too bad, just tracking along here to the north, and I can see some whales, probably about, I'm guessing 700 offshore. I could probably fly out to them, climb up high enough and fly out, but obviously I'm punching into a westerly on the way back, so I probably, or a headwind on the way back, so I probably won't. So this end of the Gold Coast is, full of money, of course. All these houses over here, they're all multi-million-dollar houses, and quite exclusive residences over here. And that river there, or that estuary there, is the Nerang, what they call the Nerang River. But it's quite a wide estuary, and as I turn around here back to the south, you can see in the distance there is the city of the Gold Coast sprawling out. This is normally a run we make, obviously when it's onshore more so than offshore like this, but it's pretty smooth today. I'm happy just to boat around here for a while, get a bit of air time, just at 630 feet, slowly climbing, no rush. I might try and go towards the bigger buildings up here in Surfers. I'm trialling the Bluetooth airband radio here this morning, and I've got it paired with the Sena 20S, and it seems to be working fine. I've had a fair bit of air traffic in my ear already. Made a call before just to let other air traffic know I'm in the air, and it's really good not having the wires. Certainly a lot freer feeling, no doubt about it. So it's I think it's the way to go. Just going through 800 feet here as I'm tracking probably west-southwest here, going this way. So my ground speed going here is 35k an hour. So I've got about a 10 kilometre an hour or so headwind coming from me from the right side here. I've just gone through 1,000 feet. I'll just start crossing over now, and the high rise is starting to get thicker down towards Southport, and then ultimately the high rises around the beach. Suburbia waking up down here. It's just gone about 7:30 in the morning. Another glorious winter's morning here on the Gold Coast. This time of year we get some really, really nice days. Mid-20s in the daytime and cool obviously at night, mornings and afternoons. But yeah, certainly we get a lot of visitors up here, this part of the world, during the winter months, come up from down south where it's obviously bitterly cold. Why wouldn't you on a day like today? Look at this. This is spectacular as I track straight over the middle of the Nerang River here. Now we've got this high rise here, Bayview Harbour. A group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 large high rises with obviously lots of money tied up in those boats down there. And you can see all the boats parked in here in this natural boat harbour. Now the colours of the water, these shallower parts and deeper parts of the estuary here, just amazing. Just incredible to see it from up here on a day like today. Once the sun goes even more vertical, it'll get even better again. Wow. Just over here on my left, down there, you might be able to just see the open paddock. That's where I've just taken off from. And I've done a bit of a loop around to the north. Now I'm tracking south as these high rises start to grow larger as I get a bit closer here. So I'm on the upwind side of them, of all these buildings, so it shouldn't be too bad if I stay on this side. Although as I get closer, because of some of the larger high rises at Southport, it might get a little bit bumpy. Now just down here in front of me I've got the Southport Aquatic Centre, which is the venue for the swimming competition of the Commonwealth Games, which are here next year. And then just over here in front of me, so out of sight there, is the Athletes Village that they're building. These high rises here in front of me, directly in front of me, are that's Southport, both residential and a lot of business in and around Southport there. And then beyond are the massive ones, obviously, of the tourist area. If I was to have an engine out right now, I would. I've got a 56 kilometre an hour ground speed at the moment, so I would turn left as I'm about to do, and use the beach. And here's the boat harbour here in front of us, where obviously it's very popular with visitors. to moor their yachts and boats. I don't normally hold the selfie stick with my left hand, which is my throttle hand, so you can see how I'm holding the throttle at the moment. Normally I'll always fly with a reserve, but it's due for a repack, so the last 15 flights or so I haven't been using it, and which is pretty rare for me. I've done a lot of hours now, and I like the security of having the reserve, but I also like the freedom that not having the big heavy reserve, because I've got a 160 reserve, rated 160 kilos, and it's heavy. It's a heavy reserve, and I normally, because I've got the J bars here of the high hang point, I hang it off the side of my right J bar here, with my dominant hand being the right one, if I have to deploy it. Without the weight of the reserve, not only when you're launching and landing, but just when you're flying in general, it's a lot better feeling, no doubt about it. So this little island here is called Wave Break Island. Now it gets its name because the waves come in from the seaway here when there's large swell, and they come and hit this island, which breaks up the waves and stops the larger swell hitting the coast and eroding the residential areas over here to the west. What it does do is it provides sanctuary for other vessels and boats in on the western side. It's a popular little spot for people to come camping and just get away from it while still being very close to the main high-rise area or their houses over here. So the seaway there to the behind me or to the right here it's approximately 300 metres wide, and it's really popular with surfers that paddle over across it, and they access the waves, which are called TOS, or short, that stands for the other side. And due to the sand build up and sand dumping from the south side to the north side, it creates these really unique beach breaks or very hollow waves right close to the water's edge or the shoreline. So it's super popular with surfers and filmmakers and the like. And I can see a whole heap of surfers over there this morning. It's a popular hangout spot for many of the unemployed of the Gold Coast. Now, coming back west, I'm at the northern side of Wave Break Island. You can see this natural sanctuary for these boats. Nice and sheltered, no wave action, and nice and quiet, except for a screaming two-stroke motor above their heads, of course. But yeah, you can see the colour of the water. You can see it's all just a really nice spot. I don't know what the hell's going on down there, but so I'm going to climb now and go back to the seaway and then cross over to South Australia again. Just climbing through 400 and crossing over the entrance here to the seaway. Alright, it's gone through 530 and that should be enough. Woo. The shape of the sand that's on the bottom here, shaped by the tide's amazing. I'll just track south towards the high rises from this western side. I certainly won't go all the way. As I look here to the left, you might be able to see it. I'll actually turn around and you can see it. You might be able to see here on the water behind me on the left side, the right side of the screen, not whatever, the wind lines on the water here going offshore. So that's always something to look out for when you're flying. And because I fly the water a real lot at the coast, or I use the water as a real good indicator on wind, obviously wind direction, wind strength, but it's fairly windless in close, and those wind lines start offshore, so that's obviously a real good indicator of an offshore flow, similar to a smooth area in a lake on the upwind side. So there's the SeaWorld Nara, which I was just on the western side of it. I'm now on the eastern side of it, just cruising here to the south from on the coast side. I won't go too much further because that'll get a little bit lumpy soon. Now as I come up here, you just see this group of buildings here in the coast bushes. This is the Sheraton Mirage, which is obviously a high 5-star hotel motel. I've taken a day off work today just because I knew that the forecast was going to be really nice. So I thought I'd get up for a fly this morning, and certainly glad I did. And just in front of the high-rise, as I get a bit closer, you'll see a vehicle on the beach. That's where I'm working. I'm a lifeguard with the local council here, and this is my spot. It's not a bad spot, especially when you're looking at it from this angle, for sure. So yeah, there's my work colleague down there. He's just setting up the swimming flags for the day, and I'll turn around here in a moment. I can see quite a few of the lifeguard trucks setting up the swimming area for the day. All right, I'll head back to the north now and go and buzz the seaway up here about another 3 kilometres to the north, which you can see there in the distance. I would love so much to go down low here, but because it looks so nice. But yeah, it'll certainly get not so bumpy that it's bad. It's a lot smoother just up here. I'm just coming up here on the seaway, which is where I took off. So I'm going to put this stick away now and pack everything away before I get ready for landing. But when I do land, I'll actually show you how I store the pole. So this pole here is quite a long, it's probably 4 foot, metre and a bit, metre and a quarter or so. So it's quite and it extends out. It packs down to about half that size, 2.5 feet or so. It's an old window washer that I use. Just put this throttle into cruise control. Put this gimbal away. All right, just landed. All good. Just bloody beautiful down here. It's nice and warm actually after being upstairs for a while. So I grabbed my glider, and that was just a lovely flight. Motor went well. Beautiful scenery as you've seen there. Hopefully I was able to capture enough of it for you. You can see the windsock there. I mean, I did a forward launch, probably could have done a reverse launch, but I'm happy to do a forward. Yeah, and that was a really good fun fly. Now I'll show you how I store this selfie stick here. Just get out of all this gear. I'm still clipped into something. Fork strap here. So the selfie stick is just this old window washer handle. And I can it's hard to do with one hand, but I can just twist it, and it'll extend. Oh, hang on, that doesn't look good. So it'll extend, and it's you might not be able to pick up the length of it there, but it's certainly quite a large selfie stick, and it just drops down to about, I would say, 2.5 feet or so. Now what I also have done is I've changed the head of it to a screw. I can also just tilt that head where I need to. So this is super handy. So I'm obviously taking off with something like this. I used to have it down my chest here, but it would sort of stick up like this, and super awkward. So what I do now is I'll show you. So this is the left side of my paramotor. Now down here you'll see some PVC tubing, which the base sticks into, and then if I follow it up, you'll see I've got this spring-mounted broomstick holder there, and so if I put that in the bottom, and then I can just snap it in there, and the whole thing just stays in place. My throttle is always on the outside, so that's something to be very mindful of. And yeah, so that does the job. Now that's not going anywhere. And if I want to pull it out when I'm in flight, once I'm settled and everything's good, I just pull it out here and then just lift it out, and then use it, and then just reverse it in the when I'm finishing, put it in there, snap it in, and away you go. Super simple. So there you go. There's a little tip that may or may not help you. Yeah, So again, thank you for coming on my flight. I'm glad I could bring you along in some way, and have a great day. See you later.